Teleportation, invisibility, and orange paint. Find the Forge world that's right for you! What's up, guys? AdMech on pre-order this Saturday. I'm pretty sure that video we made about the codex being in the bottom of the ocean forced them to release it, so I want to thank all of you for liking and commenting that video. We did it! We got them to release the AdMech, so now we can all get excited and play 9th edition 40k for the first time with actual 9th edition rules, because nobody should honestly care about 8th edition books in a new edition. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, we've seen the cover. The cover art's super grim, dark, and cool. And we'll jump right into here. We got Mars. Now, this was the kind of favorite before, so let's see what's going on. You get Masters of the Forge. Skitarii units with this dogma gain the Canticles of the Omnissiah ability. Right off the bat, that sounds like... Well, first of all, is every unit Skitarii? Or is it going to be separate, like only half of the units are Skitarii and the other half are AdMech or whatever it was in previous? Forgot what the other ones were called, like the Electro Priests weren't Skitarii, I believe. But it sounds like they might be the only ones who get the Canticles of the Omnissiah, so maybe they'll show us what that is. I assume they'll redo that chart, because a lot of that chart was absolutely garbage and just made no sense for a lot of the game, besides like the exploding lightning one. How stupid was that rules writing? But like the re-rolling hits was amazing. So each time a unit with this dogma is selected to shoot or fight, you can re-roll one hit roll when resolving that unit's attacks. So sort of a master crafted expert crafters kind of thing, but you don't get the wound roll or the damage roll re-roll. So just a re-roll a hit roll. This might not be too bad as far as increasing the accuracy of your vehicles, because I do believe now, unless your units are core, they don't get the re-roll auras from your characters. So this would be a way to increase the accuracy of vehicles that might be unable to get the reroll auras. Now, let's see. Each time a unit... So, if you had a unit of, say, 3 or 6 chicken walkers, let's say you had 3 chicken walkers shooting 18 autocannon shots, you're only rerolling 1 to hit. So, we'll see if there's a way to get them to reroll all their 1s. They used to be able to hit on 2s and reroll 1s. They were super accurate. I think people were sleeping on them before. Wrath of Mars. Okay, this was another super powerful damage out. It was like basically made either your robots or your infiltrators or even a unit of Vanguard or Electro Priest or whatever potentially do a ton of damage. It was the hardest hitting thing in the codex, besides maybe 6 chicken walkers with las cannons or auto cannons. But let's see. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Mars unit is selected to shoot. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts mortal wound on the target in addition, nice, to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. So, you can only get 6 mortal wounds now instead of infinite, which, depending on how many 6s you rolled. So this would be like a nerf for sure to 2 units I can think of off the top of my head. If you took 6 robots that used to double shoot, it was, like 112 shots or something for the unit. So you'd probably get more than 6 mortal wounds out of them, but that was still like a 660 point unit. A lot of times I would just take like 2 or 4 robots, just because they're such a big target. If you put all 600 points into it, 700 almost, plus a character to reroll, plus destroyers. There was so much of your army just standing still. It wasn't really all that good, unless you were playing on bowling ball planets with no terrain. Then you probably thought it was really good because you just shot your opponent to death infinitely. But if you actually played on a table with terrain, it was too many points to go all in on that. The best use, I thought, or one of the best uses, was you drop in 10 infiltrators. They had 5-shot pistols. So it was 50 shots. They were only strength 3 guns, but you could make them hit on 2s. When the canicle was up, you could reroll 1s. So it was basically 50 hits. And then that would be about, I don't know, maybe 12 mortal wounds or something. 10 mortal wounds. No, yeah, like maybe 10 mortal wounds. So this cap at 6, still jumping down with 6 mortal wounds. Cool. And let's see, if the power rating is 11 or more, this stratagem costs 2 instead of 1. So, kind of a double nerf to the robots. I don't know what the new power ratings are, of course, but if you had a big unit of robots, using this on them, you cap out your 6 and it costs you more. So people might be looking for maybe units that are more likely to hit just around the maybe 6 to 10 mortal wound count. That way the cap at 6 isn't, too bad, and hopefully only costs you 1 CP for people playing Mars. Oh yeah, a melee weapon for the AdMech characters. This is going to be great. This is a colossal cog-bladed axe, so your tech priest is going to start doing some work. Model equipped with the Omnicine X only. The relic replaces the Omnicine X. Alright. Plus 2 strength. Minus 5 AP, 2 damage. Each time the bearer fights, it makes 3 additional attacks with the weapon. So, our awful melee characters, i.e. Tech Priest Dominus, unless this is on call, he gets a better chance at fighting a little bit. Hopefully there's better things to choose than this. But, funny story, I was playing a game against Thousand Suns, and Magnus the Red had 2 wounds left, and our Tech Priest Axe does 2 damage. So I charged him, and I killed him. A Tech Priest in my army killed Magnus the Red in hand-to-hand combat because of this 2 damage. So, maybe I should upgrade that guy to have this weapon when I play Mars, so he could kill somebody else at, I don't know. Very funny. All right. Lucius, this was my go-to. They're my favorite. I love teleporting in my units. They also ignored AP1. And also everybody was playing Mars in 8th edition for a long time. And then there was the sneaky ones too. So I basically just played Lucius the most. But I played a lot of them. Graia, Lucius, Mars. Generally, if I went to an event, I'd probably play in Mars just for that Wrath of Mars damage output. But in general games, I played Lucius. So let's see what they get. I'm super happy. I love teleporting in the Electro Priest and failing 9-inch charges. It was so much fun. But I did it all the time, every game. Alright, this Forge World Lucius employs many materials and technologies that are virtually unknown elsewhere. Ooh. Dogma, Solar Blessing. Lucius is renowned for its craftsmanship and unique solar-blessed ores, often marked by the ritual scorching of its titanic forges. Each time an attack with a damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to a model with this dogma, add 1 to any armor saving throw made against that attack. Okay, so that's pretty sweet, because that's not just shooting attack. So, like a lot of damage 1 melee attacks, chain swords, things with no AP. Pretty sure orcs are just a big volume of attacks, 1 damage, no AP. So that's not bad. Plus 1 armor, I think, is better than ignoring AP1 because, well, I don't know. It probably all kind of works out to be the same. Although it seems like they increase the damage of weapons, like heavy bolters going to 2 damage. But, I think that would put your troops up on a 3-up save against... Oh, wow. Actually, that would put your troops on a 3-up save against 1 damage attacks. Your breachers and destroyers, probably like a 2-up, 3-up for those 2. That's pretty sweet. So, love that. I think that's going to be a nice one. Also, just when people put those extra pot shots into your vehicles, bolt rifles or whatever, you're basically ignoring AP1, but you're even better against no AP damage 1. So yeah, this is better. This is a buff. Add 3 to the range characteristic of weapons that models with this dogma are equipped with. This is nice, because it's just all range weapons. So flamers that went to 12 are now 15. Rapid fire 24 guns or whatever would be 27. I think that's pretty strong. That seems good. I think I like that. I think that's going to be a fun one. Especially plus 3 inches isn't a huge deal on long range weapons, but it's a big deal on short range weapons because if you have like, say, a 6-inch pistol type gun or 12-inch pistol or whatever, you know, going up to 15 or 9, that's pretty sweet. Having long since replaced every scrap of their hollow planet with technology. Oh, that sounds cool. This Forge world is wholly dependent on the constant stream of resources from outside their own system. This makes Lucius one of the most acquisitive Forge worlds of all. Legio Teleporterium. This was my favorite. 1 CP. Use this stratagem before the battle, during the declare reserves and transport step. If you are playing a mission without this step, use this stratagem during deployment instead. Okay, I don't know what that means. I haven't read the 9th edition rules. Select one Lucius unit, excluding vehicle units, so no jumping in with the robots, like hand-to-hand combat robots, or say chickens with lances. You can set that unit up in the Teleporterium instead of setting up on the battlefield. If you do so, then in the reinforcement step of one of your movement phases, you can set up this unit anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 away from enemy models. You can only use this stratagem once, unless you are playing a strike force battle, in which case you can use this stratagem twice. Or an onslaught battle, in which case you can use this stratagem 3 times. Okay, so I don't know what those mean. 1, 2, or 3, depending on the battle type. If you know what those mean in the, like, what is a normal 2,000 point game? Is that an onslaught battle? That's probably what that is. I bet Strike Force is like the 1,000 point game. Or, you know, maybe Onslaught's the 2,000 point game. I don't know. Tell me what that means in below. So that's always fun, deep striking an Electro Priest or a sneaky unit of just like 10 Vanguard with 3 arc rifles and an arc pistol, dropping them near some vehicles to try to, you know, fish out some extra damage from your arc weapons. And it's only 1 CP. It doesn't go up in cost based on unit size or power level, which is really nice. So you could do the 20-man Electro Priest. Great. Maybe Rust Stalkers or something will get some love. That's actually, I have thousands and thousands of painted points of AdMech, and I have 0 Rust Stalkers because they were just seemingly worthless in 8th edition. But yeah, let me know what that Onslaught, I'm guessing that means 2,000 point game. Use it 3 times, which is plenty. Usually you just use it a couple times anyway. Agrippina. Staunch defenders under constant threat for centuries due to their proximity to the Eye of Terror. Famed for their grim resolve. Alright. Each model with this dogma makes a range attack that targets a unit within half range. The armor penetration characteristic of the attacks is improved by 1. Wow. That seems pretty good. I mean, even if you're las cannon at a 48-inch range, at 24 inches, going up to plus 1 AP, making it like AP 4, I believe. That seems very nice. All 3 of these seem good so far. And that's what I liked about AdMech, is I felt like the previous Forge Worlds had a lot of different fun kind of builds, and you could try different things. So this one seems really nice as well. Especially, yeah, I mean, I think like arc weapons, like a heavy arc rifle, I think it was 36-inch range on the breachers. So at 18-inch range, giving that plus 1 AP, flat 3 damage or whatever against vehicles, brutal. Each time an enemy unit declares a charge against a unit with this dogma, if this unit is not within engagement range of any enemy units, it can hold steady or set to defend. Okay, I think those are the charge reactions I'm not 100% familiar with, but none of them are stand and shoot, I don't think. Is set to defend or hold steady, stand and shoot, Overwatch? I don't know. Indentured Machines. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select one Cataphron Servitor unit from your army. Add 1 to the toughness characteristics of models in that unit. A unit can only be selected for the stratagem once. You can only use the stratagem once, 2 times, 3 times. And I'm hoping that means a battle size, not mission type. So you can give your, I assume, breachers and destroyers +1 toughness. I think that makes them toughness 6. For a CP, that seems pretty good. Especially if you took a big unit. That +1 AP, though, that could be very powerful. I mean, you're talking, even the Rangers have a 30-inch gun, so at AP 1. So at 15 inches, heavy 2, AP 2, 1 damage gun for your troops. And people are moving to the center of the board to hold objectives, so people are going to get within 15, I think. Figure you could set up around 12 in, 15 forward. That's 27 inches across the board. Indentured Machines. Oh, that's the toughness? Okay. Endless War has created no shortage of legendary martyrs. Arcana Mechanicum, the Eye of Zelexum. Agrippina not only. At the start of your shooting phase, select one enemy vehicle unit within 18 inches of the bearer. Till the end of the phase, the bearer gains the following ability. The Eye of Zelexum Aura. While a friendly Agrippina Core or Agrippina Cataphron Servitor unit is within 6 of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets the vehicle, you can reroll the wound roll. Generally, rerolling a wound roll is really powerful. There's always, in most cases, more modifiers to hit in the game than wound. I wish it was monster or vehicle. That would be better. I mean, we're talking about the magic eye of Zelexum here. But yeah, it would be cool if it was monster or vehicle, because that would help you against like a Mortarion or Magnus or a Greater Demon or something. But vehicle, blow up some knights, tanks, whatever. I think it's pretty good. Defilers. And this was starting your shooting phase. Okay. Now, unless I missed it, this isn't once per turn, or once per, I mean, this is not once per game. The start of your shooting phase, select an enemy vehicle within 18. Okay, so if this is on a character that's giving, say, reroll 1s to hit in an aura, and he's walking with a group of core or Cataphron Servitors, or with a little 6-inch blob around him, he picks a unit within 18, he gives all those units potentially reroll 1s to hit, and now they reroll all the wound rolls. So that seems nice. I like it. Good combo. I think there's some play there. Could be fun. Summary. Aggressive, hard-hitting. Good at taking on heavily armored foes. Oh, I didn't read the summary for Lucius. Summary. A tough gunline army that can shrug off foes, and they can teleport. Okay. Graia, I used to love them. It was so much fun rolling 6s and your guys didn't die or your vehicles didn't die. Because sometimes somebody would shoot you with something and you would just pull out a double 6 and boom. They have to waste a whole nother unit shooting at you. It was great. It was really fun. Adherence to the cold logic of the machine. No cost too high. Refusal to yield. Alright, let's see what that is now. Each time a combat attrition test is taken for a unit with this dogma, it is automatically passed. So I believe when you fail Battle Shock, you lose one model, and then the combat attrition test is where you roll 1s or 1s and 2s for other models to run. So your guys don't run, but I think you still lose the initial one from failing. I'd rather fish for 6s because that's more fun. Each time a model with this dogma would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll a dice. On a 5+, the wound is not lost. So a 5-up, feel no pain against mortal wounds, and your guys don't run away to combat attrition. Yeah, I'd much rather play the other 3, just, you know, at first glance here. This seems lame. The combat attrition thing, just lame. The 5-up Mortal Wound save is cool, I guess. I don't know how many Mortal Wounds are in the game right now. So I'd rather fish for 6s till I'm that yield, failure to... What was it called? Refusal to die or whatever. Refusal to yield. So, yeah, I'm not super happy with that. But maybe if you're doing a big, giant blobs of infantry guys, and then you were passing your thing, I don't know. Whatever. Steel Mind, Iron Logic. Use a stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase. When an enemy psyker attempts a psychic power, 4+, the psychic power is denied. Okay, I used to love this one too when I played Graia, because, you had a 4-up shot at stopping warp time or whatever. I don't know what the hot new psychic powers are these days. So, giving you a 4-up chance for 1 CP was way better than having no chance because we had no dispels or no psychers. So, but I don't think that 4-up is worth whatever this is up there. So, Graia Tech Priest model only. The Cerebral Technomitry. Mitri. Add 3 inches to the range of the bear's or abilities to a maximum of 9. Each time the bear uses an ability in your command phase that specifies a range, you can add 3 to the range of that ability. So he has a bigger reroll potential bubble. I assume he gets some kind of reroll. And uses an ability in your command phase that has a range, which I assume if he can still heal vehicles, he can do it from slightly farther away, I guess. Very difficult to shift off objectives or out of cover. Can resist psychic powers. Yeah, I don't know about that. Mortal Wounds only, so 6-up, feeling pain against all wounds would have been much better. Styges 8. This was another really popular one. There was some combos with like pre-game movement for like kind of an alpha strike sort of list. Plus you could do, minus, you got minus to hit you, so that was nice. I never really played this one because this one then became popular competitively, and I don't own any of the Lance chickens. I only have the Shooty chickens, so I never really felt like I needed to play this one. Let's see what they get. Shroud Protocols. Each time a ranged attack targets a vehicle unit... Okay, hold on. Each time a ranged attack targets a vehicle unit, excluding units with the core keyword, with this dogma, if the attacker is more than 18 inches away, then the target is treating having the benefits of dense cover against the attack. Each time a range... Okay, so your vehicles get dense cover if they're more than 18 away and not core. Okay? Cool, I guess. I don't remember. Is dense cover the -1 to hit or the +1 armor save? I don't know. Or is it both? You have to let me know below. I'm not familiar with all the terrain keywords yet. I haven't played 9th edition yet because I've been waiting for this book. Each time a ranged attack targets a unit, excluding vehicle units without the core keyword, with this dogma, if the attacker is more than 12 away, then the target is treated as having the benefits of dense cover. Okay? Each time a unit with this dogma declares a charge, none of the targets of that charge can hold steady or set to defend. Okay, I guess kind of like a surprise attack or something. They don't see it coming. I don't know. Let me know if that's good in the comments below. Is this good? Getting dense cover with some variety of stipulations and not letting your opponent hold steady or set to defend. Clandestine Infiltration under cover of stealth. Use this stratagem during deployment. Select one Styges 8 core infantry unit from your army. When you set up that unit, it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 away from the enemy deployment zone and enemy models. Okay, so I think previously in 8th edition, this is how it was. And then I think they changed it to like a pre-game move. Not sure, I didn't play this one a lot. But first of all, in the comments below, let me know. Can you use the same stratagem more than once during deployment? Or is this a one-time thing during deployment? Because in 8th edition, if it was before the game, you could use it multiple times, and then in the game, once per phase. And then you set up a core infantry unit 9 away from the enemy. This actually seems maybe very, very strong. Assuming you could... I mean, it seems like right off the bat, you could just put units on all the objectives as long as they're 9 away from the enemy deployment zone. This is kind of what I think Nurglings used to do. Maybe they still do. They would kind of just deploy on all the objectives. That's interesting. Maybe... Or you can basically set up 9 away from the enemy, move, 6 inches in your first turn and make a 3-inch charge if you set up some big blobs of, melee core infantry. I don't know if Electro Priests are going to get core infantry. It might only be Ranger and Vanguard. But yeah, for a few CPs, let's say 3 CPs and you set up 30 Vanguard with arc rifles on objectives, or plasma guns, or whatever you give them, and you get first turn, that could be a pretty powerful alpha strike, I think. Omnissiah's Hand. Stygiate model only, once per battle. At the end of the fight phase, okay, so you have to live, you can use this relic. If you do so, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 12. On a 2+, they suffer a mortal wound. On a 6, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. Okay, kind of like a bomb going off here. It's a big range, and at least on a 2+, you're still doing 1. Our characters in the past, we'll see what the Marshal does, and I don't think we're getting any other new models. They're not super melee oriented, but they generally had, like a 2-up save, so they could survive a little bit. So yeah, a little bomb thing. I don't know what all the, more generic relics are going to be, so maybe you take that, I don't know. They're the sneaky ones, great against armies that would rather sit back and shoot you. Okay. Ryza. These guys had some cool plasma combos that could, with plasma destroyers. And they also had like some melee stuff that you could do. They were interesting. I don't think I had enough plasma guns built for my destroyers or my troops to ever really play Ryza. I didn't really have the correct models to build them. Red in Cog and Claw. Ryza's masters point to aggressive combat doctrines. Each time a model with this dogma makes a melee attack, if it made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. So +1 to wound on the charge if you get charged or you heroically intervene. I think this is like what the Blood Angels got. Or at least they did in 8th edition. +1 to wound on the charge. The math on that turns out to be crazy. Because if you're like strength 6, now you're wounding toughness 8 on a 4 up 50% of the time, right? It's a big buff. So +1 to wound, anything that modifies wound rolls is always powerful. I mean, even if, just changing to wounding on 5s instead of 6s with your strength 3 attacks. Although our melee guys usually were like strength 5 or 6 because they had like tasers, or they were electro priests, or the robots. I mean, with their fists, they could be wounding on probably 2s against a lot of stuff if they charge. And you get to add 1 to charge rolls. So they kind of seem to win away from the plasma here. All melee. So there might be a cool melee build here. Even like breachers with arc claws can fight a little bit. +1 to wound, they fight a little bit more, and +1 to charge. So that's cool. Oh, they're squishing my Eldars here. Okay, so they're still plasma specialists. Let's see what that does. That which hates most breeds the most incandescent of blasts. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Ryza unit is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack with a plasma weapon, add 1 to the damage characteristic. So you can get 3 damage heavy plasma cannons. I think this is kind of the same as it was before, which was awesome. But you have to kind of be careful with overcharging them. If it still kills your whole model, we'll see when we get the full war scrolls. You know, or make sure you got reroll 1s to hit at the time, or +1 to hit to save them, unless it's unmodified 1s now. And then they got the weapon XX. Rise a model equipped with a Volkite blaster only. The relic replaces the Volkite blaster and has the following profile. So this was the gun on the Tech Priest Dominus that I believe did mortal wounds, which is the one I'd always take, because if you're going to shoot with a character, fishing for a couple mortal wounds here and there always seem nice. Each time an attack is made with this weapon on an unmodified wound roll of 6, that attack inflicts 2 mortal wounds in addition to normal damage. So you definitely take this gun on your Tech Priest. 24-inch range, heavy 3. In the past, I believe he shot on the 2+, so maybe you move and shoot on a 3. You probably reroll 1s for yourself. Maybe. Strength 7, AP 2, 2 damage. So you're basically walking around with a 3-shot autocannon, except on 6s to wound. You could do a potential 4 damage. I mean, this one gun, perfect roll, does 12 damage. 6 mortal wounds and 6 damage. That's a nice one. The stabbiest of the cyborgs. Alright. This one's fun. It looks like you can do a combination of maybe some plasma shooting, some melee combos. A cool gun for your Tech Priest, make him a little more killy. Like it. Metallica, I believe they did like a lot of running and shooting. Didn't love them in the last codex. But let's see what they got. Relentless March. Models with this dogma do not suffer the penalty to hit rolls incurred for firing assault weapons in the same turn that their unit advanced. Okay, so if you saw when they updated the weapon profiles for AdMech, a lot of the Cognis las cannon type weapons, auto cannon type weapons, they all went to assault. A lot of the weapons are assault now. So a lot of your units can run and shoot with no penalty. Pretty nice, I guess. Now, a lot of those units that can run and shoot with no penalty aren't necessarily trying to run closer to the enemy, though. A lot of more long-range support, but all your troops can run and shoot with no penalty. Pretty cool. I think that's cool. Also, hopefully when this dogma applies to all the units and vehicles in the army, and not just, you know, a selected amount. Alright. Models with this dogma do not suffer the penalty to hit rolls incurred for firing heavy weapons in the same turn that their unit has moved. Okay. So, Rangers, heavy 2 weapon now, 30-inch range. Move and shoot with no penalty. Vanguard, run and shoot with no penalty. I think there's some play here. AdMech used to have some special kind of rules where units didn't suffer moving and shooting penalties, like breachers and stuff, because they were stable on their little tracks. If that stays, you know, cool. If it doesn't, then you might want to play these guys to move and shoot them. While an enemy unit is within engagement range of a unit from your army with this dogma, that unit is treated as being below half strength. So, I believe when you make a combat attrition test, if you're below half strength, you run away on a 1 or a 2 instead of a 1. Just a little buff for melee, and you definitely get a run up on them. Moving, a lot of movement here, moving and shooting. Pretty cool. Using sound and fury as a weapon unto itself. The shock and awe of their assault can break the will of the foe. Deafening assault. War gear stratagem. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase. When a Metallica unit from your army is selected to shoot, select one enemy unit, excluding vehicle units, within 12 of that unit. Until the start of your turn, have the move characteristic of models in the enemy unit. That unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. Okay, not it. So I see a problem with this right off the bat. Let me know if you feel differently in the comments, please. I love talking about AdMech. I'm going to be doing a ton of videos on them once I get this book. So you're going to use this in the shooting phase when one of your units is shooting. You pick an enemy unit and they have their move characteristic. And they cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. So if you're going to charge them, you can use this on them so they can't Overwatch you. Or you can slow them down. But here's the problem. It doesn't have their charge. So if they're within, if they're exactly 12 away and you turn a move 6 guy to move 3, then he's 9 away, but he could still charge you on the roll of a 9. It would be much more powerful and really 100%, I think, a fail on GW's rules writing. This should have move and charge because they're being deafened by your, Master Blaster speakers or whatever. So there's going to be units that might move fast enough that even at half move, they can still make a decent charge roll against you. So that's unfortunate. It would have been cooler if you could almost kind of hold a unit 12 inches away in place by having their movement and their charge. Just making it really hard for them to move through this wall of sound. So that's unfortunate. Also, if units can run and charge, if, let's say they're move 4, but they run and charge, okay, their move characteristic is turned to a 2, but if they rolled a 6, they still move 8. And then they still charge 2d6. So there's some problems with the way this is written. It's not as strong as it sounds, I don't think. But let me know. You might use it, of course, to ignore Overwatch. But from games I've watched with my buddies, doesn't seem like Overwatch is as big as it used to be, seeing as it's just kind of once in a while being used. But we'll see. The Adamantian Arm Metallica model only. This incredible bionic arm makes flesh look extra weak. Metallica model only. The bearer is equipped with this relic. In addition to their other weapons, it has the following profile. ×3 strength, AP 3, 4 damage. Each time the bearer fights, no more than 1 attack can be made with this weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, add 1 to the attack hit rolls. That's stupid. So whoop-de-doo, you got 1 attack with an awesome profile. And you get +1 to hit with that awesome profile. Generally speaking, the AdMech characters suck in combat. Their only saving grace was they pretty much had like a 2-up save. We'll see what that new Marshall character does. I don't know what he does yet. Maybe he's a good choice for this. But, geez, a lot of our models, what do they have, like 3 attacks? Would it be so crazy to let one of our guys have 3 attacks with a 4 damage melee weapon? They're not exactly the beat sticks of the universe. But instead they have to keep them sucky at just 1 attack. If there's no other relics, maybe you take this one. But generally I felt like you always kept your guys out of combat if you could. Metallica grind across the battlefield in a relentless wave. And they can deny Overwatch, so they're great against shooty armies. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Oh, Custom Forge Worlds. They're going to be in the book. Alright, Custom Forge Worlds with Psychic Awakening and whatnot when they came about were so stupid. They were generally better choices. Eldar would just take all the master-crafted stuff. Everybody was just building up the custom, and it kind of ruined the previous ones, but we'll see. Hopefully they get it right this edition. Let's see. While the primary Forge Worlds offer some fun and thematic options to choose from, you might have an idea for something that's better suited to your army concept, preferred fighting style, or a common opponent. So if you want to tailor your list to beat up your buddy every weekend, or perhaps you simply want to use an unusual color scheme, or give your army a special name. Don't ever listen to them. You can paint your army any color you want. They have no say in how you paint your models. No tournament has any say in how you paint your models. No other person has any say in how you decide to paint the models you spent your money on. And they can eat your butt if they say otherwise. So, anyway, mine are blue, and I'll use whatever darn Forge World I want. But, let's see what we get. You start by choosing one of the primary dogmas. One of 4, so there's just 4 choices. Each with 3 secondary dogmas to refine them further. So, you pick a major one and a minor one, it looks like. For example, you might decide to start with a data hoard Forge World that safeguards arcane knowledge. That makes their highly advanced vehicles a bit tougher. Okay, so let's see. Magna bonded alloys. Each time a vehicle with this dogma would lose a wound on a roll of a 6, the wound is not lost. So this is what Gaia should have got for all their guys, I think. Or what I would have liked to see. Maybe not what they should have got. It's what I would have liked to see them get. So 6-up ward or feel no pain for your vehicles. Cool. AdMech can field a lot of vehicles in general. We have a lot of vehicle units that can do other things than just stand back and shoot. So that's cool. It's kind of like Ulfway. And that was a primary. From there, you may decide to further strengthen your vehicles with self-repairing devices. So I'm guessing you pick 2, 1 primary, and then 1 of 3 secondaries. At the start of your command phase, each vehicle model in your army with this dogma regains 1 lost wound. Models with this dogma, whose characteristics can change as they suffer damage, have double the remaining wounds for determining their characteristic. So it keeps your ballistic skill high, you heal, you have a 6-up ward. It makes your vehicles tough. A big question, will there be Imperial Knights in the AdMech codex? They were in the previous codex. And will those will those knights get these dogmas? Because that'd be kind of cool, give an Imperial Knight in your army a 6-up ward, or 6-up feel no pain, sorry I keep saying ward, and heal a wound and always count as double. I mean, so he's shooting at high ballistic skill and moving better. Pretty cool. Better number of attacks. I like that. Assuming it works on knights, you might be able to use this, whatever. It is what it is. There are loads of options in the AdMech codex, so you're sure to find something that suits you. I agree. 8th edition, I thought the AdMech codex had tons of fun options, tons of fun Forge Worlds to play, lots of different army building capabilities that were all pretty good and fun. Maybe not in the top competitive scene, but I honestly do not care about those people. I'm not trying to win LVO or Adepticon. I'm just trying to have some good games, some laughs with some friends. And if I play an event, it's for fun. While you're waiting for the book to go up on pre-order this weekend, grab a Start Collect. Okay, so there you have it. There's my initial first thought review of the new Forge Worlds. I think there's a lot of fun stuff here. And, of course, I'm basing a lot of this, though, on my knowledge of the army from the 8th edition book. So all kinds of weapons and profiles and point costs and everything are going to change. So this is kind of just a first reaction type thing. Some of these could be way better than I thought based on, maybe a unit is 10 points cheaper and now you can field 30 of them. Something like that. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Look how handsome these little AdMech boys are. Thumbs up for the handsome AdMech boys. All you thirsty gamer boys out there. Yeah, thank you. Comment below. Let me know what I got wrong or what you think looks strong. Please subscribe. Please like the video. Please support Ghost Brushes, the original all-white hobby paintbrush. And I'll see you in the next one.